Alright, should be going live here in a second. Let me just say some mumbo jumbo here until we're on. So guys, welcome everybody. It's the game plan. A little 2-game slate today, getting ready for the Thanksgiving football and stuff. But we got some basketball tonight to cover, so let's do it. Should be a little bit tougher, honestly, than it's so different than your average slate because there's not much in terms of injuries. So it's just gonna all be about kind of figuring out the best values here. So let me know any questions you guys have in chat or in Slack. Be sure to tag me so I see it. Alright, so it's actually kind of nice. We can build some lamps right now. Don't have to wait for later. So I guess it's kind of interesting, the Clippers. I kind of thought, maybe one of these guys would sit out. But I guess first Dallas, since Dallas is a little bit of a tougher team than Memphis tomorrow, I guess the plan is for Kawhi and Paul George to both play today and then both rest tomorrow. But I don't really have any special insight on that. Maybe if anyone's seen anything, one way or the other, chime in. That'll be a key thing in today's slate. So if both play, then that hurts both of them. But on DraftKings, the prices are pretty good, to be honest. On FanDuel, not so much. What's okay but not to leave in salary says don't freaking suck. Nice screen name. I think that you want to really stay within 10 points of the max salary, or 10 points of max projection. Salary, indifferent. What's your take on Beal? That's chicken dinner. So let's take a look. 9,700 is a lot, but just a little bit overpriced there. It seems fadeable on FanDuel. On DraftKings, 9,300. Since they get the bonus for threes, I guess it's a little bit better there. But not going to blow you away with being good value or anything. So I'm not really drawn one way or the other there. So I guess the biggest spend up is Luka. He seems like a pretty good option, but there are just so little values today that it might be tough to get him in there. Other than changing randomness and uniques, how could I reduce the amount of players in my player pool crunch to crunch? Just X guys out, I'd have to say. I'm not really someone that worries about it. Talk briefly about the groups you want to set today. Probably know Zubac and Harrell. Like, on a normal slate, you wouldn't really get Zubac, but on this slate, I think you could. I'd set a Node, Powell, and Kleber. Mo Wagner, not a very appealing play, but him and Thomas Bryant. Saw the centers here, Plumlee and Jokic. So you're going to need to take some chances on these backups. What size 150 pool will you shoot for tonight? Well, let me just bust out a cruncher. I think that'll be the easiest way for me to kind of take a dive into the slate and see how much flexibility do we really have here. Let me just pull up my projections. Alright. So I have to imagine there's no singular player that's like a lock today, because there really aren't any exceptional situations. So I'll do my best here to try to find some strategies. So I'll start off with the groups. Kleber and Powell, they do play at the same time sometimes, but I don't love that combo. Zubac and Harrell. Yep. So most one of each of these. Let's see, we got Bryant and Wagner. And then finally we got Jokic. If you wanted to really get into this, maybe you could go in some of these teams like Washington, Washington, you got Davis Bertans and Troy Brown kind of competing for minutes. So those would be two guys I wouldn't want together. On Denver, Millsap and Grant. I think that's a good group here. Two guys that really aren't going to be core pieces of the strategy tonight, but nonetheless worth mentioning here. And then Dallas, not seeing a lot of plays there anyway, but alright. Large field single entry to for Luka's floor. I mean, it's all about points per dollar here, so let's see how much Luka we get when we just run a crunch. Kind of curious. Alright, so some of my 40 randomness. I have found in these slates there really aren't that many good combinations, so something to keep in mind here. Luka and Porzingis apparently are the really required players here, so I guess they should be guys to go to tonight. Millsap, I really feel strongly about that. UMAC has, if you hold shift and type of teams abbreviation, you can add multiple players to group lists as many. It's pretty cool. I'll have to remember that. Alright. So, we just want to optimal real quick and see what that looks like. So we got Lou Williams. That's someone that I'm a little surprised is in the optimal, but I guess the price is right. I don't really see any reason not to pick him. Since he plays off the bench, Paul George and Kawhi don't affect him as much. Luka, Kleber, it's probable, so 3,700 is a really nice price for. I feel like Kleber is a better matchup versus Harrell than Powell too, so I could see Kleber getting more run than average. Porzingis could play some center too. It's just kind of cheap. Harris, he would. So let's see. I'm not really on any of the Denver backups. He's been alternating with Malik Beasley and Porter, I think. So, the number I'm looking for here, 327, and then 270 optimal. So I'm going to kind of try to stay within 260 to 270. Shouldn't be too hard to do, I imagine. So it looks like I'm going to delete like half the lineups. Oh no, not pretty wide open slate here. So just immediately off the gate, I think that the groups are going to be one of the best strategies tonight. Because it's tough for two guys backing each other up to really get there, unless they're just like really good values. Alright, feel free to hit me up with any more questions here. Kind of a slower day, not anything that I didn't expect here, so appreciate you guys for grinding it out with me here. So 351, these are the highest owned ones, so maybe I'll try to see the highest owned half maybe, see how that looks. And now I'm left with 190 lineups, so that's a pretty nice number. Alright. Let me look at the lowest owned lineups here and see what that kind of looks like. I think that'll be interesting. Alright, so it's not really any single digit owned guys showing up Harkless, so that's yeah, that's pretty hard to stomach. So I can understand that. So I'm still getting Doncic, no Porzingis. No real guys here. So Beal maybe a little bit sneakier. Who will? Troy Brown is someone I think is a good value at 3,500. I think he was questionable last game, so I wasn't super surprised he didn't play a lot of minutes. But eventually we gotta just give up on this idea that he's gonna play a lot of minutes. So I think like some strategies that could be worth considering are maybe like taking shots on guys like Plumlee, like Wagner, backing up some guys that get fouls more often. Maybe that'll help you be a little sneakier, but really tough to be like super sneaky. Harkless, he's starting, so he's playing well. Like I could see him getting run, but not a productive player. Honestly, I'm not seeing a whole lot here. But let me know in Slack or in chat if you think there's an edge I'm missing on this slate. Go over to FanDuel and check that out, see how it's shaping up. The slate is balls, says Jared Diaz. I'll just start looking at stuff before lock. Yeah, I'm kind of curious to hear what the guys have to say about the slate today, because this one's tough, I have to be honest. Alright. So I'll start with the groups. So let's see. I don't need to create groups for the centers here, but Kleber is a Kleber, oops, this is Dallas. Kleber and, oh, this is a nice trick, I like it. Thanks for the trick here. Okay. And then, who do I say? Jokic and Plumlee, they're both center. Barrel Zubac. And then Grant and Millsap. Alright. So let's see what we come up with here. I will mention that the fact that you can't really utilize the groups may mean that FanDuel is a little tougher to win on. Okay. And so there's some pretty good contests tonight, so a little bit of gambling going on here. Don't hit it. I'm gonna create my Awesemo here. 282, 317 ownership, so I'm trying to stay above 272. Pretty easy to do, so I think being a little bit contrarian can pay off today just because there's a lot of combinations with a higher projection. Oops. Seems a lot of people are projecting for Kawhi for 30 minutes. But yeah, he could play more. I mean, a little break in Thanksgiving, I guess. It's hard to really predict that. Let's see what his game log looks like. Since he doesn't ever play the back-to-backs, it's kind of hard to... Oh yeah, I see a lot of mid-30s. Then this game with Houston, he had 5 fouls, so that explains it. Maybe, let's see. On the year, he's averaging 32. I have him projected for 31. Maybe that's a little low. 32 sounds a little bit better. It's a good call there. I like it. Alright. So bet ownership. Look how much Beal you got. Ooh, 78%. Interesting. Maybe once we delete some higher on lineups, so I'll come down a bit. So 338, maybe I'll delete. Let's delete the top half of our lineups just for the sake of speeding things up here. Do you look into defensive matchups for stud players? That's Manny. Denver plays at really, they're good at defense and they play at a slower pace, so I think that you'd expect guys to have bad nights first time. Andre, are you using 40% randomness? I mentioned it's the pro I'm using on like tonight. I think you could use more since there's more good options because there are no like real great players. Don't freaking suck. Do I treat quintuple ups the same as cash and go more with the feel? Treat them more like GPVs. Alright. So, looking for some outlier projections here. So this one actually, 281. I feel like this Kleber ownership might go up now that he's probable. But let me we'll go to the lowest one. Let's see what we're looking at. Harrell, 8.2%. That's pretty low for a guy that, there's no real great centers. Kind of like that. Grant, 20%. That's surprising. Monty Morris, maybe a huge punt. Maybe you'd make him a Murray Morris group, but I don't know if that's essential to there. Hardaway. He's moved in the starting lineup, so that's kind of promising, but the price has gone up. McRae here, let's see. McRae, Will mentioned. Looks like he's been having some pretty good games here. Let me dig into the stats. So on the year, 17% or 19% usage, which is pretty good. 21% assists, 0.7 offensive rebound, 14.8 defensive. Average 18 minutes. It was average 15 minutes on the year. Let's see what the rotations look like. So McRae is coming in for. It's interesting because Troy Brown came in for him, but then he kind of subbed in for Troy Brown in the second half. Since Troy Brown's someone that didn't play a lot of minutes, wow, he had a bad game. 0 for 6. No, that's not too bad actually. I think that that is a reason to be more optimistic about McRae, so I gotta bump his projection up here a little bit. And at the same time, CJ Miles only played 5 minutes, so I'll take minutes away from him. Alright. It's a good call there. So Chris asks, thoughts on raising randomness on a small slate? Can you update the position assignments? Certain players show up as NA. Yeah, that's my bad. I didn't know that. Let me take a look at that. I'll take a look after we're done here. Yeah, so not a ton to talk about today. Take a couple more questions here and then kind of leave it up to you guys and the deeper dive, lock before lock, all that jazz. So let's take a look at the boom bust tool real quick. Kind of want to see if we can dig anything interesting from there. On a day where ownership's really concentrated, maybe we can. 55% ownership. Oh, Jokic 46%, 69% chance of a bust. Leonard pretty comparable. So based on this, Jokic is someone I wouldn't really look to. It's really expensive though. Let me make sure that everything is making sense here. Maybe that was a little low on the projection, but still, I don't think he's a very good player though. So if he's going to be that high owned, maybe that's the reason to fade him. And then I'm not seeing like a ton here. Well, let's see what are there any boom players? Wagner, 1.6% owned. Like that might be a little bit of advantage, but I'm not seeing anything besides that really. Alright, Josh says, how should I go about doing research from the start of the day up until lock? Um, that's a great question. I think that it kind of depends on what kind of analysis you like. I mean, you can do the strategy show if you like video analysis, or we have articles throughout the day, like the live blog. I usually publish that around 1 or 2 p.m. Uh, who goes for FanDuel? Let me see what the deal with these. Okay. Then you could, learning how to use Fantasy Cruncher and stuff, kind of going through the process I'm showing you here, is a good way. I think it would help to know a little bit like how you play. Like, are you doing hand building or MMEing? If you're doing hand building, then going through the lineup builder, trying to get some lineups that have a high projection for the ownership. That would be a good idea. So let me just put in one of these Cruncher lineups here that I kind of liked. So we'll go with this one. Blue and Herald, there's a nice correlation there. Downchurch, Finney Smith. Oops, the wrong side. And then we got Plumlee, this guy would confirm play, Barton. Got Millsap and Bryant. So it kind of gives you some feedback on your lineups here. Tells you like how contrarian you are. Josh uses FC. Okay, so I mean, if you're using FC and you're using the stuff on the site, you don't really need to like be studying all day necessarily. Don't freak yourself out worried. Go to a Find Lineup Builder. That's in the tools section here of the menu. So I think that maybe just having a 1 hour process that you do before lock may be the best way to approach it. I'm kind of going through a process here where you can kind of like delete out some of the low projected lamps and the high owned ones. If you get really advanced, you can start using Excel to really optimize the process and speed it up. So that's kind of how I would approach it. Kind of minutes you have Hardaway asks Chris. Have 28 minutes. I mean, he played more than 30 the last game, but he's not a real high usage guy this year. Maybe I do have him a little bit low though. I'll just go through all the players in a little bit and try to update it. But I do notice they don't really run the starters like a ton here in Dallas. I don't think this role is very stable. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. A little bit of a slower day with the 2-game slate, but there's just as much money to win, so hopefully we can get some of that tonight. And good luck everyone.